What we're seeing from Donald Trump right now appears to be both a mental and physical decline. And even he seems aware of it. Reports suggest he's been frustrated about his public image, from his appearance on camera to how his speeches are being received. His recent statements have become increasingly incoherent, filled with missteps, confusion, and rambling thoughts that often leave even his own team scrambling to respond. Today in the Oval Office, that pattern was on full display. And it's why his staff had to step in once again to steady the situation. They tried to clarify his words, redirect the conversation, and control the damage. Because the truth is, Trump's ability to communicate clearly and stay on message has never been weaker. We'll break down exactly what happened, how his aides are managing these growing public struggles, and what it reveals about his state of mind. But before we do, if you could take a second to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It really helps support our work and keeps independent reporting like this going. Now, let's start with the claim that opened his press briefing, a strange and easily debunked statement about supporters in Chicago that quickly went off the rails.
And the people of Chicago are walking around with MAGA hats. You have women, beautiful black women, walking around with MAGA hats. Please let the president in, and we don't care how he does it. They're not interested in National Guard or Army, Navy, bring them in, Marines, bring in the Marines. They just want the crime to stop. And more so because of the success that we had in D.C. I think if we didn't have that success, nobody would even believe it.
I don't think we've ever heard Donald Trump say something so far removed from reality as that. You know the type. They love me. Everyone tells me how great I am. It's always the same story. People supposedly coming up to him in secret, behind closed doors, saying how fantastic he is. It reminds me of when Don Jr. was really into podcasting, and every episode started with him saying that random people at airports or on the street were stopping him just to tell him how amazing he was. You hear that kind of line a lot from MAGA figures. Nancy Mace does it too. It's always something like, I was at this private event you've never heard of, but people came up to tell me how wonderful I am. But what's not so wonderful are the budget cuts that Donald Trump has been bragging about. He might claim everyone loves them, but this one in particular carries some truly concerning consequences.
They don't talk about this. You know, we're getting rid of programs that we didn't like, but that were negotiated in, but we didn't like. We're terminating those programs, and they're going to be terminated on a permanent basis. And it's thousands of people, and it's billions of dollars. We're getting rid of a lot of things that we never wanted because of the fact that they made this stupid move. And then
this kind of thing isn't new, but it feels different this time, especially with the latest news coming out of Alaska. Donald Trump has been saying that he's cutting what he calls woke programs and so-called partisan initiatives. But one of those programs he labeled as unnecessary was actually a $20 million grant in Alaska designed to prevent flooding. That same flooding has now devastated the very town where those funds were cut. Homes destroyed, families displaced, and a community left struggling to rebuild. Why? Because that vital prevention program was dismissed as political or woke. Meanwhile, billions continue flowing overseas, with tens of billions reportedly going to Argentina and Israel, while the so-called America First agenda leaves real Americans behind. In the end, it seems less about helping the country and more about pursuing personal and political battles.
Don in particular, I'll never forget Adam Shifty Schiff, a total crooked guy, lying in Congress, making up a phone conversation that I have with you, totally made up. Then when he heard it was taped, he wanted to disappear. And Nancy Pelosi went crazy because they wanted to impeach me based on the conversation that was made up. When they heard the tape, everybody, I won it unanimously in the Republican Party. I got every single vote, something that never happens, and I beat it. But think of it, they want to put my son in jail for something that they made up. So they know they made it up. And they say he will serve the rest of his life in prison. These are sick, bad people. And don't tell me about us going after them. If anything, we've been very, very soft. I wouldn't be that soft, I'll tell you that. Thank you very much, everybody.
Let's go. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Let's go.
Donald Trump seemed visibly agitated during this press conference, clearly worked up and frustrated. He appeared defensive, blaming others for every criticism he's received while insisting that he's always right and doing an incredible job. That same attitude carries over when he talks about the conflicts he claims to have resolved. Yet, in at least one instance, it was clear he didn't fully understand the situation, confusing key details while discussing the relationship between Pakistan and India, and even referencing the wrong country entirely.
Example, if you look at Pakistan and Iran, I told them I was in the midst of negotiating a trade deal with Iran, and Pakistan was going to be in line. And because of tariffs, they all want to negotiate much differently. We were making a good deal, and then I heard that they're shooting at each other. And I said during one of my conversations, are you guys going to go to war? Two nuclear powers we are thinking about. I said, here's the deal. You go to war, I'm going to put a 200% tariff. I'm going to stop you from doing any business in the United States. I said it to both of them. Within 24 hours, the war ended. That would have been a nuclear war. And again, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, who is here
What we're seeing here appears to be a complete unraveling of Donald Trump's understanding of global affairs. He mentioned a supposed conflict between Pakistan and Iran in recent months, a claim that simply doesn't align with reality. Despite struggling to accurately describe the situations he claims to have resolved, Trump continues to insist he deserves recognition, even suggesting he's worthy of a Nobel Peace Prize. We saw this confusion on display during the recent Middle East Peace Summit in Egypt, where his decision to invite Prime Minister Netanyahu prompted several world and military leaders to refuse attendance. Neither Trump nor Netanyahu have demonstrated the kind of leadership that brings lasting peace. In fact, Trump's comments showed he doesn't seem to grasp the dynamics between these nations or even the basic geography involved. Still, as the situation grew increasingly awkward, one of his closest allies, Kash Patel, tried to step in and smooth things over.
President, just one last thank you from the men and women at the FBI. You found a way to get these individuals paid during a government shutdown, our 1811 agents. So on behalf of the FBI, it's a great debt that we owe you, sir. They're now allowed to pay for their families, so thank you.
And the military. Good.
That's right.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Trump. Thank you, dear leader. You've managed to shut down the government, yet somehow we're supposed to celebrate that some federal employees are still getting paid. Should we throw a parade next and spend another $50 million in your honor? Let's be clear. Donald Trump was the one who caused the shutdown in the first place. He created the problem, blamed it on Democrats, and then took credit for partially fixing what he broke. This cycle has become all too familiar. Trump causes the crisis, shifts the blame, pretends to solve it, and then the MAGA base praises him as if he's a hero. The truth is, Donald Trump has weakened the structure of our government and continues to mislead the public at every turn. The hypocrisy is built into the strategy. And one of the most recent examples came right after he claimed to care about free speech while attacking peaceful protesters from the No Kings movement. At the same time, a Politico article revealed a disturbing story about a private group chat among several young Republican aides, individuals who work in congressional offices and have been celebrated as rising stars. The messages reportedly contained hateful and offensive language. When calls came from both Republicans and Democrats demanding accountability, Senator J.D. Vance stepped in to defend them. And what he said in response was shocking.
focusing on what kids are saying in a group chat. Grow up. I'm sorry. Focus on the real issues. Don't focus on what kids say in group chats. But there's another angle to this that I just have to be honest about. I mean, I'm like an old guy at this point. I'm 41 years old. I have 3 kids. You know, I grew up in a different world, right? Where not most of the stupid things that I did when I was a teenager and a young adult, they're not on the internet. Like, I'm going to tell my kids, especially my boys, don't put things on the internet. Like, be careful with what you post. If you put something in a group chat, assume that some scumbag is going to leak it in an effort to try to cause you harm or cause your family harm. But the reality is that kids do stupid things, especially young boys. They tell edgy, offensive jokes. Like, that's what kids do. And I really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very offensive stupid joke, is cause to ruin their lives. And at some point, we're all going to have to say, enough of this BS. We're not going to allow the worst moment in a 21-year-old's group chat to ruin a kid's life for the rest of time. That's just not okay. Like, we live in a digital world. This stuff is now etched in stone online. We're all going to have to say, you know what? No. We're not doing this. We're not canceling kids because they do something stupid in a group chat. And if I have to be the person who carries that message forward, I'm fine with it.
So, for full context, these young political aides were caught in a private group chat expressing disturbing admiration for hateful ideologies using deeply offensive language and slurs. It was appalling behavior. We will not be silenced. We will continue to show up peacefully and powerfully. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and if you've made it this far, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.